As we move closer to the May primary election, the political chatter tied to candidates is getting louder and more frequent. Key question we're hearing is whether candidates can use their current job to campaign for an elected office. We took a look at one race in particular. For Knox County Sheriff Lee Trammell serves now as chief deputy, but is running to become the next sheriff.
Now, supporters of his opponent, Tom Spangler, suggest Trammell shouldn't be allowed to campaign given his current role in the sheriff's office. 10 News reporter Mark Salinger joins us with a series of answers to what can be a tricky question. Mark?
Robin, John, many of these viewers are asking about the Federal Hatch Act. It's a statute that limits certain political activities of employees who work with federally funded programs. But experts say this act doesn't apply in this case.
I'm Lee Trammell, and I'm asking for your vote.
You've probably seen this ad of Lee Trammell wearing his sheriff's office uniform and standing in front of what appears to be other deputies in law enforcement cars.
He's wearing his uniform. It's hard to tell when he's representing the sheriff's department, when he's representing himself as a candidate.
Trammell's campaign says the deputies were off duty at the time and paid. Bo Pierce supports Trammell's opponent in the race for Knox County Sheriff and was one of the several people who reached out to 10 News about whether Trammell is allowed to use his position to campaign for sheriff.
We do need to be able to delineate between employee and candidate.
Tom Spangler is Trammell's opponent and is himself a former chief deputy. His website includes a picture in his Knox County uniform. But critics argue that Trammell has become the voice of the sheriff's office and is campaigning in his badge and uniform. WBIR legal analyst Dennis Francis says it does not appear to violate any laws.
Why would a person have to resign or take a leave of absence? That's what he does for a living.
Trammell's critics point to the Hatch Act.
The Hatch Act is a federal act. It doesn't apply to anybody at the county level or the state level. It's a federal statute.
Tennessee does have a state law called the Little Hatch Act, but the Knox County District Attorney's Office says it only limits the political activity of state employees and thus does not apply to county employees.
Absent coercion, there's nothing inherently wrong with an assistant running for the top job or somebody from the ranks wanting to move up.
There is no law in Knox County that would prevent a county employee from running for public office. In fact, it happens often. Our current sheriff ran for sheriff while employed by the sheriff's office. Commissioners and Board of Education members often run while currently holding an elected seat. And though an argument could be made that current office holders get more face time, according to Tennessee law, there's nothing illegal about it. And we reached out to Lee Trammell today requesting an interview, but he was not available. We expect to speak with him tonight, and we'll update our story once we hear from him.